Protestors have gathered outside the Russian embassy in Canberra, calling on Vladimir Putin to stop the war. It follows comments this week from ASIO that a hive of spies expelled by Australia were Russian. Olivia Casely has the latest from Canberra.
Protesters are gathering outside the Russian embassy in Canberra to mark 1 year since Russia invaded Ukraine. Protesters are holding a day-long vigil to commemorate the occasion and send support and solidarity to their friends and family back home. Cars driving past are beeping their horns in support, and the bells of the local Orthodox church are also ringing out in support. I spoke to one of the organisers of this event today, Marussia. She comes to this place every Saturday to protest the war movement. She has a strong message both for Vladimir Putin and Anthony Albanese.
I'm a little bit disappointed that the federal government hasn't made any effort to expel at least symbolically some of those.
What's your message to Russia today, and especially the diplomats here?
Just leave, just leave. You've got your own country, leave. Ukraine hasn't invaded anyone, it hasn't crossed a border. Just leave and be happy with what you've got.
They have made enormous sacrifice. A sacrifice in lives, a sacrifice in infrastructure, a sacrifice in their standard of living. They live under constant pressure, air raids, atrocities committed by the Russian forces in Ukraine, and yet they have stood tall.
This comes as 9 newspapers revealed that the spy hive dismantled by ASIO here in Australia were Russian. These Russian spies were posing as diplomats using deep cover identities. They basically wanted to recruit Australians in order to obtain classified information. ASIO sources said that they had spent months tracking the Russian spy ring, but it was a classified, clandestine operation. They didn't want to tip the Russians off that they were onto them for fear of retribution against Australians in Moscow. We know this ring was operating out of a number of locations, including right here just behind me at the Russian embassy in Canberra.
I don't comment on national security briefings, but I just say that ASIO do a very good job in defending Australia's national interest, and they have my absolute confidence and support in doing that job, and we provide them with every resource and every support that they ask for.
When Mike Burgess, the head of ASIO, spoke about this spy threat a few days ago, he didn't mention Russia specifically, but he said that this foreign espionage operation had been dismantled professionally and privately.
I've previously revealed how we removed a nest of spies. I refer to this latest case as the hive of spies because it was bigger and more dangerous than the nest. The spies were undeclared. In other words, they were working undercover.
These revelations will no doubt add further strain to the already complicated relationship between Moscow and Canberra.